Alright guys, so let's start from what we said. We're gonna start by doing the main structure, which is the spine, and then we're gonna block out the rib cage, this box, those box for the rib cage and the pelvis, and this way we can have the main structure, and after we can start by adding the clavicle, the shoulder blades, and those structures for the arms, and then we can understand better the shapes of muscles, the origins and insertions, and then after we can do the whole body, by the flesh and everything. Okay, so here I actually separated everything in a common group here in a folder which I named head, and it's all separated by those items like here. And yeah, let's start it. Okay, so let's start by appending here common cylinder, right? And first we can make it just a little bit thin and higher. So as you can see it here, let's try to reproduce those curvatures, and remembering that we have this cervical part which has a short curvature, and then the thoracic part which has it's more curved one, and then it adds more curvature but in the opposite side, in this lumbar region here, and then after in the sacrum we have this short region, but also the most curved part. Okay, so I'm gonna try to make it a little bit like the same we did for the cylinder. And let me check the density. I think like this is okay. So I will first try to make those curvature by just by the eyes, by looking through and comparing the size, and after we're gonna check more the proportions and everything. Let's just make first the initial structure for that, like in those boxes. Okay, so at first I'm gonna push like this for the thoracic part, the lumbar region, and then the sacrum, and here in the neck, just a little bit like this. So we're gonna have kind of an S shape, but with one more, some more curvatures like this. I could even, subdivide it once. And now we can continue by adding some boxes, some cube like this, and then we can edit this box with the scale, the transpose here, by adjusting its scale and trying to make a box like this. And then we can tilt this a little bit, and a little bit more. I think maybe the scale for the spine will be it's not that much that we need. But let's first position everything, and then we can adjust all the proportions. Here I'm gonna duplicate this box and tilt into the other side. Then here we can position just as this one. Let me check if we have, yeah, we can maybe use as a reference this other image here as well, right? Maybe it's too big, and we could leave it like the same size. I'm now first using as a reference, you know, the width size of this one by comparing the size of the head, but maybe we're gonna need to add a little bit more. Here I'm gonna turn on the symmetry and start to manipulate a little bit these forms. Okay. Actually here we can make it more larger like this. Alright, once we have made this box, we can start to turning those boxes into this shape, so we can better see what is happening, and then we can start to bring the clavicle and shoulder blades and everything, so then we're gonna have better ways to stipulate the right proportions. Okay, here gonna make kind of a V shape into this front part like this, and here I can grab a little bit more and smooth it a little bit. I'm gonna turn down my Z intensity for the move brush, as I'm used to do on every brush I use. Now for this box here, I'm gonna do the same. I will turn on the symmetry by pressing X button, and then I'm gonna try to make this shape for the pelvis, something like this. I'm gonna try to keep the same height to the top, and then into the side part I can smooth just like this. Into the base. Okay. Here I could even grab a little bit this part, and yeah, that's it. Here I think we have a nice blocking for those masses, the rib cage and also the pelvis, and then we can start to add more more features, like the clavicles and maybe the shoulder blades in the back, and this way we're gonna be able to find those landmarks that we have here, extracted from Michael Hampton's book. Okay, so as you can see, we have the clavicle and the external, which is the bone in the middle of the rib cage, this bone right here. Okay, and then we have those points in red, which are the ends of the thoracic arch of the rib cage. It would be kind of here, you know, and then the external right here. So before we continue, let's do Dynamesh here in those points, and then we could you know, kind of make the external shape, and this way we could locate it. For the external, I'm gonna show you. The external has its shape of a necktie, you know. You can see it here. Let me check. Yeah, I'm not sure in which image it was, but you can clearly see the shape of a tie here. So what you could do is make just a drawing, so we can locate it just like this. You know, and then we can manage better those forms and better understand those landmarks of the rib cage like this. Okay, so here I'm gonna try to have kind of the middle size for this external. Like that. And here we could also, you know, it not need, but with an edge polish we could make like this shape, so it would be the base of neck. All right, and now we can add the clavicle shape. The clavicle will mainly will be in just like remembering this arch shape like this by looking through the top view. So we can append here another cylinder shape like this. I'm gonna turn on my transparent mode, make it thinner. I'm gonna position it just here in the base of sternum, like so. Let me show you here. Just like here, okay. And the top of this external part. And also one thing that we can do is to do a mirror and weld, so we can have both sides. So you go over geometry, modify topology, and mirror and weld. Okay, so now we duplicate it into both sides, and then we can turn on the symmetry by pressing S button. And this way we can drag this shape for making this format. All right, so notice that we're gonna have kind of an S shape, which we can subdivide in 3 parts. For the clavicle, which would be kind of this part, the first one, the second one in more diagonal shape, and this other one into a front faced part. Okay, so we could separate by one part, one diagonal, and another one. So this is front faced, this is diagonal, and this is front faced again. Okay, all like in the same size. And I'm gonna place my gizmo more to this side. Notice that we have on space between them. Okay, and look at the position they are in relation with the sternum part. Okay, look here, if we have the end of rib cage like here, we're gonna leave just a little bit more for the end of clavicle, just like this. Okay, I can leave it like that, position it, I'm gonna bring just a little bit bigger. And now we can even tilt just a little bit, not too much like this, no, just a little bit. It was like parallel, and then we can tilt just a little bit. And now let's start by adding the shoulder blades. The shoulder blades will be the mainly connection for the clavicle, and actually the shoulder blades it won't be attached to any part of the rib cage. It will be like a floating bone, so it has this shape, kind of a trowel shape like this. And this is a nice image by Stefan Rogerspeck book. And as you can see it here, it's gonna connect to the clavicle just like this, and it will be floating over the rib cage. Okay, here in the rib cage we could even, you know, with standard brush make kind of this depression here in the middle, and add just a little bit of volume to both sides there. All right, just to mark and have a place to represent that. I think we're gonna need to move everything to the top, because as we have made it, the neck here, the neck will be a muscle that I'm gonna show you, and by comparing all the proportions, I'm gonna show you guys that we're gonna need to raise everything up. So here I turned on this transpose all selected subtools, and with Ctrl and Shift button I'm gonna isolate those two subtools like here, and then I can click just in the canvas with Ctrl Shift pressed, and this way I inverted my selection for all the subtools, transpose all selected subtools, right? So here I'm gonna bring it more to the top like this. And now I'm gonna select the spine and place it more more like here in the middle of the head. Maybe we can bring it just a little bit more for the front and reposition the rib cage and also the clavicle shape, more like this. All right. So let's first add a trowel shape for the shoulder blades, and then we can adjust everything and check all the proportions and everything. Here I can move just this pelvis for here. Okay. Yeah, so let's continue in the next lecture.